hello everyone, as I forgot to take the welcome note out. Um, and welcome back to the Redseapodcast. This is Dennis, as always, coming to you from Greece. And today, as you all saw on Twitter, if you don't follow me there, please go check out the description and follow every socials you wish to do. And if you like what you see, of course, while you're there, do leave a like and subscribe. Join me on this insane ride, as this ride has been getting crazier and crazier. And yeah, you can find ways to communicate with me, and to leave your questions, opinions, and everything like that down below. This, of course, if you're watching after, is also on Spotify, so if you don't have time to catch the YouTube video, you can also go over on Spotify and listen up. So, as I posted on Twitter earlier, this week's schedule, more or less, good help everything goes well, of course. Today we'll be talking about the PAOK game and what that more or less means in general, given how the season is slowly but surely coming to an end. Personally, I more or less find it insane that we are just 8 match days away from the end of the league. It's two for the end of the regular season and six with the new playoff format. And for me, it's crazy. I don't know about you all and if you all agree with me, but I find it absolutely insane. Also, one last thing for those of you that are new, that I realized that I haven't really explained in the last few shows because I've been solo. Of course, I don't do this alone. I haven't started this alone. This project long term is and has been run by two people. Of course, me, who started it all, who took this risk, and of course, Gav. Gav has been going insane work-wise. He's the main reason for some of the most popular episodes of this show, some of the most viewed episodes of the show, and I can very happily say that his schedule is letting up a bit, and he'll be back. Hopefully, from next week, he'll be back more and more. But for now, I, as always, I'll try my best to give you all the best content I can on every platform. So let's get into this, shall we? Uh, of course, game ended 2-1 with our goals being scored by Rodinei, with I think everyone more or less agreeing that this was one of the most chaotic goals that we've seen in quite a while. I think that if you ask him, even Rodinei himself would admit that that was never meant to be a shot. Of course, it was more or less clear that he did want to cross the ball in. The ball bounces over Kotarski, hits the left side of the post, and just dribbles in. And we lead very, very early. Then, of course, a couple of minutes after, 18 to be exact, there is a cross coming in. Let me actually remember who the cross is from. The cross comes in from Andrija Zivkovic to, honestly, in one of the most perfect crosses I've seen in quite a bit, finds Madi's head, and Madi just heads it in off the crossbar and above Zolakis as it's 1-1. I want to stand on Madi Camara for a bit because I've openly, I'm pretty sure on the show as well, said that I was never the biggest fan of him. personality wise, more or less. I'm not gonna stand here and deny that Madi gave a lot to the team. Madi, of course, has plenty of appearances with the team. He's been one of our most quality midfielders uh, that we've seen in years where quality was severely lacking. And he gave a lot to this club, but was always above his head. I've said that he should have been sold back in 2020 after that incredible but chaotic season. We held on to him for too long. He went on to a failed loan under Jose, God damn it, under Jose Mourinho's Roma, and it all led to him going to PAOK. There was some resentment on my end, even though it's equal fault. But yesterday, I feel like he showed that he truly respects this club. He showed that he knows he didn't bite the hand that fed him. I feel like that's the best phrase that can be used here. Madin knows that he owes most of his career to us. And if things had gone differently, his career would be a lot bigger. But the respect that he showed with not celebrating his goal and in his post-match comments, for those of you that haven't seen it, please go and do so. He spoke with the uttermost respect for the club, and I wanted to just take a second to recognize that and give some respect back. But yeah, after that equalizer, who else but Haralapos Kostoulas, after an incredible build-up to the goal, an incredible pass by Gelson Martins. Babis Kostoulas stands face to face with Dominik Kotarski and a PAOK defender that I don't remember who it was right now, and just slots the ball so fiercely, I think is a good adjective to say here, and so perfectly to the back of the net, and just makes it 2-1, which from relatively early on, from the 31st minute, went on to be the final score. Babis, again, another winner, as he had scored against PAOK on our first game again, and his one-man show against Aris. But even if you just put the games against the two Thessaloniki sides to the side and look at Babis' season in general, his impact, his quality, and everything. Of course, he has been deemed as our brightest prospect alongside Mouzakitis. And yet, I feel like sometimes we just overlook what Kostulas can give to the team, not only as a goal scoring threat, as he has proved to be with 7 goals with zero penalties at that. It's very important, in my opinion, to add that Babis Kostulas does not take the penalty. And at such a young age, and even I sit here as a soon to be 21-year-old turning 21 on March 5th, and even I can sit here and say that at such a young age, it's just shocking to see so much quality and so much maturity from a player when we're used to just, especially Greek talents, not only being in over their heads, but a player that stays away from the media drama that's constantly in the world of Greek football, a player that gives his all each and every time, a player that grabs every chance like it's his last one. And again, the kid is 17. I feel like even we stand to forget that sometimes, that the kid is 17. The fact that he has one of the brightest careers we've ever seen. And I think it's very safe to say that he has the potential to be Greece's best prospect ever. And speaking of prospects, before I get right back into Babis's potential, uh, Konstantinos Karetsas, has chosen to represent the Greek national team. So, regarding what's happened to the national team in general, because ever since the last break to this, there has been a lot of news coming out that I've done my best to report on, but shows on the national team games will be happening on the break, and shows regarding news in general will be happening very soon. I just wanted to say that I couldn't be happier that another incredible prospect that's been chased after by the biggest clubs in Europe, alongside the aforementioned Haralabos Kostoulas, of course, has chosen to represent our national team. And it may be a move that may have been considered self-evident, just like the other moves that are happening. But after what we've seen, I just got to give my salute to Ivan Jovanovic and everyone working uh, backstage and working hard every day to just make sure that not only the ethnic game goes back to the Euro and the World Cup, but can be considered a fear factor and a very, very competitive team. Once again, after God knows how many years. Dare I say that we have prospects to reach the heights of back when I was born back in 2004 again. But let's just take it one step at a time. As I was saying, Babis has the potential to be one of Greece's, if not Greece's best prospect ever. And honestly, I just hope we hold on to him for one more season. Because I know that holding on to him for more than that, same for Musakitis, these kids are too good to play in the Super League. But I hope we hold on to him for one more season at the very least, so both of these boys can hold a couple of titles and a couple of historic moments, a couple of more historic moments with the club of their childhood and the club of their heart. Now, moving on to a bit more details about the game. And I want to do this a bit more chaotically, as would fit the show's brand. Uh, Not gonna take the 11 by order. I'm gonna make some general comments to start off with, and then I'm gonna go through the performances that I more or less skipped over. And the performance I want to start with is Selson Martins, a player that everyone seemed to have written off, a player that go back to the last God knows how many shows, like dare I say even 10. I've kept saying that Zelson is having a dip in form, that Zelson isn't anywhere near a bad player, that Zelson has the ability to be a massive threat for us. And 2 games now, we've seen just that. Yesterday, Zelson, while yes, uh, missed a couple of chances, as did a lot of people, but we'll get into that. We'll get into conversion rate problem in a bit. Uh, of course, had that amazing assist for the second goal for Kostoulas' goal. But Zelson again, not only showing his ability as a pure out and out winger, but showing that he can keep on contributing to the team. His stats are already amazing. Let me actually pull them up because I need to remind you guys that once again, this isn't anywhere near a professional podcast, and sometimes I forget to do the shit that I want to do. In 20 matches uh, in the Super League, Gelson has 6 goals and 5 assists, and in the Europa League he has two more. Is it true that Zelson could have double that if some decisions went differently? For example, I can bring up one of his missed chances yesterday where he could have squared the ball. He could have squared the ball to Ayub El Kabi, and Ayub would have probably scored, and he would have one more assist. Yeah, it could be a lot more, but 6 and 5 in the league and two more assists in the Europa League are nowhere near as bad enough as some people were making it out to be. And I think Zelson has been given a title of uh, I don't really, I don't necessarily know how to put it in a word. He's been given a title of flair. Don't let me flair. Fans have said that he holds on to the ball too much. Fans have said that he takes some dumb decisions, especially when it comes to the final ball or the final act, like the shot. Uh, and I feel like his performances and his contribution to this team is just being overlooked. And hopefully, this, as with the next person that I'll get onto, this will kickstart his form and he can keep putting in the quality performances back to back to back like he had been doing last season and like he can keep doing. Παραμένει φλίαρο. Ο Ζέλσον για μένα κάνει κάποια πράγματα που ναι μεν θεωρούνται φλίαρα, αλλά το έχω πει ότι για μένα είναι και λίγο μέσα στο extreme αυτά. Το ότι κάποιες φορές θα κρατήσει την μπάλα, θα κάνει μια παραπάνω τρίπλα, θα κάνει αυτό, θα κάνει το άλλο. Αλλά για μένα δεν αξίζει τέτοιο μίσος και το ότι να λένε ότι η φλιαρία του τον κάνει άχρηστο. I don't think that Gelson is a useless player. Yes, it is in him to make some questionable decisions. Holding the ball too much, for example, as I mentioned earlier, fall on his ass when he takes more shots. But again, he doesn't deserve the hate. And yes, I did just translate what I said in Greek. This show is for both Greek and English fans. I've said that many times and I'll keep saying it. And exactly the comment. The comment's absolutely perfect. Zelson, I defend with so much passion because Zelson is one of my favorite players. And uh, even if he makes some very questionable actions, as with everyone, but players like Zelson especially, I'll sit my ass here and go against everyone and defend him. Now, speaking of solid fucking performances for a while now, Francisco Ortega, what a game! Again, what a game! I've been saying it ever since the Porto game. I don't know if it's the Bruno transfer that just flipped the switch in him and made him give 110-20% again each and every single game. But I feel like ever since the Porto game, we've seen a completely different Ortega, a peak Ortega that yes, we had seen. But again, I'm gonna scream this to the universe. Forms deep, bad runs of games happen. It's human. I don't know how else to put it. And Ortega is just proving that he's a solidified starter and he's more than good enough to represent the left back position for Olympiacos. And again, as I said, bad games happen, but this run of form he's having is immense for me. It's absolutely amazing. And he deserves so so much credit. And of course, uh, I'd like to see Bruno more, and I feel like the more we see Bruno and the more Bruno performs, the better and better Ortega will get. So it's a win-win situation in my eyes. But we'll get more into Bruno and our backups later when I talk about the Ike game. But I still have a lot, a lot to get through. But yes, just props, Francisco Ortega, massive props, Francisco Ortega. And another person that deserves massive props is arguably uh, our best overall player this season, a player that withstood massive pressure when we just dipped and PAOK started hitting and hitting and hitting. Uh, and that's, of course, Fener's owner, uh, Kostas Zolagis. I feel like I repeat myself every single show, and yeah, that may be the case. I may be repeating myself each and every show, but the things Zolakis does, and you all know that I like to give. I'm very biased towards goalkeepers. I like to give them extra credit, but I think where Zolakis stands right now because he's flying sky fucking high. Uh, I don't think there is extra credit because he deserves all the credit. Had to make some incredible saves yesterday. Had to put in a massive shift uh, on Wednesday. He will get a rest, of course, for Alexandros Paschalakis to play. But uh, I'll keep saying this opinion, and I've not said this live. Gav said this, but I keep backing it up each and every time. Solakis is top 10 right now in in Europe, and Solakis for me will start in most sides in the top five leagues, and I'm sure many people agree. And if you do, per chance, disagree, uh, feel free to tell me why. But Zolakis has statistically been proven to be the most ready goalkeeper outside the top five leagues to play in the top five leagues. He's one of the most valuable under 23 keepers in Europe, I think, but he should be one of the most valuable in the world as well if he isn't already. Uh, and in general, Zolakis is just too good. And for the love of God, I hope we don't lose him. I really don't want to sit here and think about the summer transfer window because I get depressed uh, thinking of how many people we may lose. But um, just enjoy it while it lasts, I guess. And I hope Joel stays because Joel loves this team more than a lot of people, more than most people. And God, I hope he stays. And God, the keeper that he is, honestly. Another person that just completely is changing the game and just demolishing expectations is Lorenzo Pirola. Lorenzo Pirola that's gone through ups and downs this season, that's been injured, uh, that has been doubted by the fans, undeservingly, dare I say, that's been playing both centre back and left back due to the absence of a backup before Bruno came in, and Pirola that's given mind, body, and soul every time he's played. And as he came in for an underwhelming David Carmo, and again, just just when Carmo's form picked up, just when Carmo's form picked up, it's a different Carmos of games, and it feels like he doesn't care, but that's a different story. Uh, very underwhelming yesterday. But I don't really want to focus on the negatives. I just keeping my eye on that, and it's a whole uh, different discussion on where his mind is at this moment and where it isn't. And you can see the differences with the games in Europe and in Greece sometimes. But yeah, Pirola has been, along with Julian Biancon, just the depth we have defensively. The sitting here and thinking that our second line, not only the center backs, is Costinha, Biancon, Pirola, and Bruno. Just thinking back to some defensive backup lines that we've had over the years, and especially the recent years, it feels like a fever dream. And I will go on to Biancon in a bit. But Pirola, of course, a huge prospect, another one that is going to be, whose name is going to be heavily involved in rumors in the summer. And again, this is a bit of an early plea, but please, please, let's keep it together in the summer because I feel like the rumors are going to be more insane than they were last summer. So please, let's keep it together in the summer. Let's not lose it. Let's not have the civil war we had. And let's stay together as one, as I keep begging for people. But yes, Pirola has been one of the brightest talents we've had on defense in a while, especially at centre back. And along with Biancon, dare I say, at least in the last few years, have been our best by an absolute country mile backup duo in the centre back. And the stability we have in the duos in the centre backs is even better. And again, back to the other man, back to an absolute cold hero, and back to one of my favorite players ever since last year, and that's Julian Biancon. Of course, that man is the thumbnail of this episode. Once again, giving it his absolute all for a full 90, celebrating like he scored the best goal ever, even though he didn't. And again, just absolutely shutting some people up that say he's not good enough. Biancon and Pirola are both making cases to start a lot of games, and Biancon and Pirola are both making cases that they are more than deserving to be in this club and that definitely know where they are. And the last thing I want to say regarding Biancon is renew them for the love of all that's holy. Renew him. Now, uh, positives and positives. I'm trying to just, this is a straight line and I'm trying to just dodge past the negatives up until the end. A player that completely changed the game yesterday, aside from Lorenzo Pirola, that held down the defensive line like an absolute wall, along with Julian Biancon, is Andre Horta. Of course, Santiago Esse coming in and bringing stability as well in the midfield, stability that was honestly much needed after Danny Garcia and Mujakitis not having a bad game but having a mediocre game. And again, there was that bit of time, including Mati's goal, where we got sort of overrun, if that makes sense. Esse coming in and bringing in stability, but Andre Horta coming in and bringing in livelihood to bring in a spark to the midfield, if that makes sense. Andre Horta is getting, of course, he knows he loves the team, but Horta is getting uh, included more and more. He's working hard to get acclimatized more and more. And we'll see the absolutely banger scoring Horta. I hope so in the games coming up against Ike. And he would have scored against PAOK as well if not for Kotarski making one of the best saves I've seen in a while, and one of the most, dare I say, unexpected saves that I've seen in a while. Now, uh, sadly, can't avoid this negative for much longer before I get into the performances in general. Uh, Palma. Palma, Ayub El Kabi, and all the missed chances. I want to focus on Palma for a bit because I'm still getting acclimatized like Orta, and even more than Orta, given that he hasn't been here in a while in the league and he hasn't been in the team ever. Uh, the chance he missed, the one-on-one he missed, seemed very costly. When it came, we didn't know what was going to happen. We really didn't know what was going to happen. And could have cost us not only the 3 points, but it could have easily cost us the top spot in the Super League, given that I won quite comfortably at Tripoli. But the absolute way that the second he missed the chance, people started calling him fraud, people started calling him useless, this, that. Like the missed chance was bad, but come the fuck on. And the same people that were calling him that, the previous game were calling him amazing, a great winger, a great dribbler, that he can cross amazingly. And again, the moment that he scores, it's the same people that will praise him insanely. The moment that he starts getting assists, because he will, he'll start finding El Kabi a lot. I know he will. I'm more than sure he will. They're going to start praising him again, and it's the hypocrisy of Greek fans sometimes that drives me fucking insane. And again, I'm not excluding myself. I've been very hypocritical many times, but at the very least, I have the balls to stand here in not fuck the camera, even behind the keyboard, uh, and say that I said this. I was absolutely fucking stupid and I'm wrong. And I've done this many times. And I'm rarely as happy as when I'm proven wrong about players' performances. But the hypocrisy of some people using a single chance to write off a player is nuts to me. And I said it on Twitter yesterday that some things that got written for Palma, and it's the same theory as our beloved Nigel Williams goes on basketball. There has to be a scapegoat for everything in a great fan's mindset, and it's driving me insane. And I'll call it out every single time I say it. But yes, there is a serious problem converting some chances. Palma's one-on-one, El Khabi's header, where it was basically one-on-one. He was alone, but he sent it off target. Again, going back to Zelson, some missed chances there. Uh, it's just chance after chance after chance, and it's always been chance after chance. That's our main issue this year. That yesterday's game, for example, could have unironically ended 4-1. Didn't. We had 500 heart attacks up until we went on and got the +3. Uh, should we have been that worried? No, but it's more than reasonable. Not our best performance, and it's a problem that keeps showing up. And we need to solve this issue. I'm sure it will be, because, of course, Ayub had a mediocre game again. Yes, but next team will go and score 3. Uh, we know that Palma will eventually start bunging them in and assisting them. Zelson already scored and assisted. The goals will come. Kostola scored. The goals will come. But we can't miss 5 chances to score 1. This is going to bite us in the ass at some point. And with the schedule coming up, with us having Ike and Ike again, two Ike games back to back, and then after the break having Bodo in Europe. That's a team that punishes this, that uh, that really punishes, uh, and the non-existent ability to convert chances sometimes. That's what I was trying to get at. And then, aside the little break of difficulty when facing off, which Zelson is going to be suspended for, by the way, for those of you that hadn't heard. We have the playoffs again, and hopefully, knock on wood, our advanced games in Europe, which is going to be against more than likely Lazio. We need to solve this issue. We need to convert our chances, and I'm not saying that we're not going to miss chances, but for example, one-on-ones like that shouldn't be missed, and Elgabis header should at least be on target. And I know it's easy to sit here in a chair in my room and say those things, but again, fans' perspective, uh, I'm sure the team will figure it out. But it's a must. It's one of the musts of the game in general. Really, really is. Uh, the people that I didn't really talk about are Velde, who didn't have a bad game, in my opinion. Velte's been working on the up and up. It's just a bit slower. He looked very lively, uh, and he will probably be used. I guess that Christopher Velde would be used in the cup game. So again, just what's missing is just that calm head at the end and those better decisions that need to be taken. But the positives are that he is looking more lively. He is looking more into taking responsibility and action and looking to try his absolute best to provide for this team. And that's at least a start compared to some others that we've seen this season as well, because Jesus Christ. And again, Luis Palma, not as great of a game as last time. Let's go, Olympiacos, indeed. uh, Thank you for the comment. And again, Luis Palma, not as great as last time, but again, quite a good game. Really, the game isn't, the performance isn't really justified by the score. We played well. We had problems in the final third, but especially defensively. Excuse me. But in the midfield as well, we played well, and that needs to be honestly as applauded as possible. And again, my plea remains the same as it's been for a long time. Let's be behind this team no matter what happens. A lot is to be played for the season, not only because of how historic the season is in and of itself, but especially league wise. Direct Champions League football is to be played. Another incredible run in Europe and in the Europa League is to be played. A very tough schedule is coming up, and our depth is minimal. We've seen that, for example, with Chiquinho out and Chiquinho missing both Ike games as well, I'm pretty sure. Uh, we are seeing a gap, especially in pressing. Like Chiquinho's gap is showing from miles away. But everyone is doing their best to cover that gap, and every gap that works, that pops up. Rechos as well. Biancon has been doing anything and everything to cover Rechos' gap, and he's doing great. So together as fans, as long as the team is trying, and as long as the team is succeeding, because again, we are on an unbeaten run that's on just the edge of beating our biggest unbeaten run. I don't know why I'm messing up so much today. Probably just the passion and me going absolutely insane because this part of the season, this final stretch of all the competitions, is going to drive all of us insane. That's why I'm again begging that as long as the team is succeeding and as long as the team is doing their 110% as every Olympiacos department should, we need to stay together as one, not bicker amongst ourselves, and be the best fans that we know we are after all. Now, this this match they showed a lot. This match they showed that, of course, PAOK now 11 points behind, I'd say, are officially out of the hunt. PAOK's last card after being knocked out from the Europa League was set to be played in the Karaiskakis. PAOK failed, and I'd say that PAOK is officially out of the run. And after one of the most embarrassing losses, and in one of the most embarrassing ways I've seen in the league in all my lifetime watching football, after Panathinaikos got absolutely smacked up by Lamia with Mancini's just absolutely humiliating actions, I'd say they're out as well. So it's a two-horse race, and if we ride that unbeaten streak and continue our momentum not only on Wednesday but next weekend as well, we build a gap into a perfectly timed break to then come back, dispatch uh, of Ofi, and head into the playoffs with arguably unstoppable momentum. But the schedule is going to be hard, and we need to take it a game at a time. But we can do this. We can ride this momentum. We can absolutely kill it. And our 100 years will be the most historic season we've seen. Dare I say, dream very big. And that's rare for me to say, but dare I say, dream very big. And please stay together. Mancini is more than unique. Mancini is special. And special doesn't always mean good, but it's very fitting for Panathinaikos, dare I say. Moving on to the week, of course, we have on the 26th, we have Ike in the Cup at home. Ike in the Cup at home, the place should be electric. We shouldn't let them take a breather. And honestly, I know it's going to be very hard, but we need to do all we can to find the perfect balance of preserving strength for the league game away at the Philadelphia, but we also need to get it done. We can't afford uh, to slip up. That's the absolutely worst case scenario. We can't afford. I leaned in because I couldn't see the emojis in, in the chat. Uh, we can't afford to slip up. We can't afford to be chasing into the second leg. And if we go on and get this done uh, on Wednesday, we go into the weekend league game, which for me is of much more importance. But of course, we need to fight for both. We go into the weekend's game with unbelievable momentum, having beaten the exact same competition a few days ago. Uh, Will there be rotation? Sure, there has to be rotation, even the minimal rotation that we can afford today. But we haven't won the cup in a while, same as the league. And both of those cups need to come to their rightful home, and we need to fight for that. And while the league is more important, I think the person that I trust the most with fighting to win everything with Olympiacos and fighting to find the absolutely perfect balance for everything, that person is Jose Luis Mendilibar. I just realized that I forgot to put the poll for your guys' MVP. So, whether you're listening to now, whether you're listening to this now or later, please down in the comments drop your MVP and your. I'll start taking a book from the boys over at Thrylos 7, and your coach is great. Uh, Honestly, for me, Mendilibar coached the game as perfect as possible. Uh, Even I myself have complained that Mendilibar has made some questionable decisions coming into some subs, but I think the subs were made at perfect times and with perfect people, as we saw. And my MVP is, for me, it's a bit easy, not like last time, not like the last few times. It's Zelson Martins. You can't not give this man the MVP when he's had arguably one of the greatest games he's had a red and white set. That's about it. Hitting very close to an hour. Very happy with that. Uh, as I said down in the description, do go check out all the socials and everything about the show. Comment your MVP, any questions you had, if you disagreed or agreed with me in general. Uh, and comment and message me. Feel free to message me, first of all. Twitter and Insta, you can comment and message me absolutely anything. And honestly, do tell me things that you do want to see on the show. Of course, I have some vlogs up that are some of my most popular videos by a landslide, and more vlogs will be coming. I just haven't been able to attend many games for personal reasons. And I have the interview uh, series that I've done, that I have two amazing episodes of. Those are all on my channel. You can find them in playlist. And feedback is always amazingly accepted. As I keep saying for the team, I'll keep it for myself as well. That criticism is perfect, demolition is not. All your guys' support has been amazing, and I can't thank you enough. I'll see you all extremely soon after the cup game against I. Have an amazing week, have an amazing night, and thank you.